Today, we're diving into a topic that many people notice but don't often talk about directly. Why do men in their 30s suddenly become more handsome and attractive compared to their early 20s? You see, when men step into their 30s, something changes not only in their appearance, but also in the way they carry themselves, the energy they give off, and the level of maturity they project. For many women, this phase marks the peak of a man's charm because it blends both youth and maturity. In this video, I'll share with you the qualities that make older men in their 30s truly handsome. Point number 1. Mature facial features. One of the first and most obvious reasons older men in their 30s are considered handsome is their mature facial structure. In the teenage years or even the early 20s, men often still carry a softer, boyish look. Their jawlines may not be fully defined, facial hair may look patchy, and overall, their features lack the depth that comes with age. But once a man hits his 30s, his face starts to take on a more sharpened, masculine appearance. This is partly due to biology. As testosterone levels have matured and bone structure is more prominent, the jawline becomes sharper, the cheekbones stand out more, and even the eyes carry a stronger presence. A few subtle lines or wrinkles may also appear, not in a negative way, but in a way that adds character to the face. Think about it. Those little marks are not flaws. They are signs of experiences, wisdom, and resilience. Facial hair also plays a major role here. By the 30s, most men can grow fuller beards or keep neatly trimmed stubble, which instantly enhances their masculinity. A beard can hide imperfections, make the face look more structured, and give an aura of maturity that a clean-shaven 20-year-old boy simply can't match. Another factor is the natural balance between youthful energy and adult seriousness. Point number 2. Confidence and self-assurance. When a man reaches his 30s, one of the most striking qualities that adds to his handsomeness is confidence. Unlike in the teenage years or early 20s, when men often struggle with insecurity, peer pressure, and the desire to fit in, a man in his 30s usually develops a clearer sense of who he is. And nothing looks more attractive than a man who carries himself with calm, natural self-assurance. This confidence doesn't necessarily mean he's the loudest in the room or that he's showing off. In fact, true confidence in a man's 30s often appears in the opposite way. It shows through his calm body language, the way he maintains eye contact, the way he speaks with certainty, and the way he walks without needing to prove himself. Women often notice this kind of confidence instantly because it radiates security. Why does this happen around the 30s? Because by this age, a man has usually faced enough failures, rejections, and challenges to no longer be afraid of them. He's not the nervous 20-year-old boy worrying about what people will think. Instead, he knows that even if life doesn't go his way, he can handle it. That inner security transforms his outward personality. This also makes men in their 30s less needy. They don't chase validation the way younger men often do, and this makes them appear even more desirable. When someone is comfortable in their own skin, people naturally want to be around them. Women find it especially attractive when a man is grounded, when his actions show he doesn't need constant approval. Confidence also changes how a man's physical features are perceived. For example, a simple smile looks different when it comes from a man who is genuinely self-assured. His posture looks different because he carries himself with balance instead of slouching or trying to shrink himself. Point number 3. Better grooming and style. Another thing that sets men in their 30s apart and makes them handsome is their improved grooming and sense of style. Let's be honest. Most men in their early 20s don't really know how to dress. They often wear whatever is trending, even if it doesn't suit them, or they pick clothes without much thought. But by the time a man enters his 30s, he usually develops a much stronger understanding of what works for him. Style isn't about wearing expensive brands. It's about wearing what enhances your personality. A simple, well-fitted shirt, a neat haircut, and a touch of cologne can do wonders. Men in their 30s often realize this and start focusing on quality rather than quantity. They may not have a closet full of random items, but the few clothes they own are usually chosen wisely to match their body shape, skin tone, and personality. Grooming also takes center stage at this age. By now, most men know whether they look better with a beard, stubble, or a clean shave. They understand the importance of skincare, personal hygiene, and maintaining a neat appearance. Something as small as trimmed nails, polished shoes, or a fresh haircut can make a massive difference in how handsome a man looks. Women notice these details. A man in his 30s who takes care of himself radiates discipline and self-respect. It's not just about looking good. It's about showing that he values himself enough to put effort into his appearance. That effort translates directly into attractiveness. And then there's the signature style. Many men in their 30s find their look, whether that's casual elegance, sporty, or a classic gentleman vibe. Having a consistent, refined style makes them stand out in a crowd because it reflects confidence and maturity. In short, when a man in his 30s steps into a room, his style and grooming often speak before he does. It's one of the subtle but powerful ways older men become naturally more handsome than younger guys. Point number 4, emotional intelligence. Physical looks can draw attention, but what makes older men truly handsome is their emotional intelligence, something that usually grows stronger by the 30s. Emotional intelligence means the ability to understand yourself, control your reactions, and connect with others on a deeper level. And trust me, this is one of the most attractive traits a man can have. In their 20s, many men struggle with emotional ups and downs. They may overreact to small issues, take things too personally, or fail to understand other people's feelings. But by the 30s, a man usually gains better control over his emotions. He knows when to stay calm, when to listen, and when to respond thoughtfully. This level of self-control and maturity is extremely appealing to women because it makes them feel safe and respected. For example, an emotionally intelligent man doesn't panic when things go wrong. He reassures others and finds solutions. He doesn't play games in relationships. He communicates directly. He doesn't need to dominate conversations. He listens carefully, which makes people feel valued. These qualities make his presence comforting and magnetic. Emotional intelligence also gives a man depth. He's not just handsome on the outside. He's interesting and trustworthy on the inside. A woman might be drawn to his looks at first, but it's his maturity, patience, and ability to understand her emotions that truly keep her interested. This doesn't mean older men are perfect, they still make mistakes. But the difference is, by the 30s, they usually learn from their mistakes. They can apologize sincerely, grow from criticism, and handle conflicts without unnecessary drama. That wisdom shows up in their conversations, in their eyes, and even in their body language. And that's why it adds so much to their handsomeness. Point number 5, life stability and purpose. Another powerful reason men in their 30s become more attractive is their sense of stability and purpose. In their 20s, many men are still figuring out their careers, their ambitions, and even their identities. They might bounce from job to job, experiment with different lifestyles, and feel uncertain about the future. But by the 30s, most men begin to settle into their chosen paths. This doesn't mean they have everything figured out, but they usually have more clarity about what they want and where they're heading. They may have built a career, started saving money, invested in their future, or developed passions they're serious about. That sense of direction is incredibly attractive because it shows maturity and reliability. For women especially, stability is a key part of attractiveness. A man who knows his goals, works towards them, and provides a sense of security appears far more desirable than someone who is constantly drifting without purpose. This doesn't only apply to finances. It's also about emotional and lifestyle stability. A man in his 30s tends to create a more balanced life, which makes him a dependable partner. Purpose also adds to his aura. When a man is passionate about his work, hobbies, or mission in life, it shows in his energy. He speaks with conviction, carries himself with pride, and motivates others. That sense of drive makes him stand out as more than just a handsome face. He becomes someone inspiring and admirable. And here's the thing. Women often say that men in their 30s look more attractive not only because of their looks but also because they feel secure around them. That stability is what separates them from younger men who may still be in the phase of uncertainty. So, life stability and purpose aren't just about career or money. They're about creating an identity of strength and reliability.